All right. Well, thanks for joining, everyone. Today, we're going to take a look at the tools for returning citizens. And this is recorded, so it will be available for you to reference in the future, or for anyone who's not able to join us today, then they can, you can let them know or forward it however you want to do that so that they have the information. So for today, I wanted to start out with just the basics. So I do recognize some of the names that are on the call already. And so you already know how to get to this information. I hear some background noise. I might, if it keeps coming up, I'll just go ahead and mute that. Okay, thank you. But I want to go ahead and I want to start from the very, very basics of how you can access the tools and the instructions. I don't want to make any assumptions that people already know how to get to the tools. So for starters, we just go to illinoisworknet.com, and you will need an Illinois WorkNet account. So if you have, hold on, I'm sorry, I keep hearing one other thing. It looks like Murphy, looks like your phone was, looks like you were trying to talk, but it was kind of making a noise. So if you're trying to talk, then go ahead, and if it's not coming through clearly, if you want to exit the meeting and come back in, then it might work better. So, okay. So, okay, so we go to illinoisworknet.com, and you'll need an Illinois WorkNet account in order to be able to access the tools. So from your Illinois WorkNet page, you just click sign up, and you can create an Illinois WorkNet account. And then once you have your Illinois WorkNet account, then you can send the information to info@illinoisworknet.com and let us know that you would like to have access to returning citizens tools, and we'll verify that information, and then we can give you access to those tools. So for starters, go to sign up and have your sign up with their Illinois WorkNet account. So we're on the main page for Illinois WorkNet, and Illinois WorkNet has a variety of tools and resources to help individuals and employers with reaching their training and employment goals. So we have a whole lot of resources here on the side, and the primary focus is for individuals and employers. If you go across the top in the header, you'll see a little icon for partners, and if you click on it, then you'll notice that everything turns blue. And that's because we have a special area that is specifically for partners. So what you can do is you go to the partner area, and you'll see announcements, tools, guides, initiatives, and then we have an area for program guides for partners. So we have returning citizens. So you click on returning citizens, and this is our standard format for our partner guide. You can access this information without being logged in. It just has guidance, and these are articles with videos and related resources. We'll take a look at more of those in just a few moments. We have the partner training materials and videos. So if you click on that, you'll see we have our archived webinar from last week. And then we'll have an ongoing list of our webinars with related materials and just the high-level agenda for each of those past trainings or webinars. And the most recent will be on the top. So you can see that information. We also have an area for a full list of resources. So if I click on full list of resources, I went ahead and left some areas. So you'll see there's like this thing that says coming soon right here, and it's kind of grayed and italicized. And these are areas just because of past programs that we have implemented. We know that we're going to need them. And so, or we at least needs to be up out there for discussion if we need to have some instructions or related technical assistance documents for those particular topics. And so I have left them on this page. So if they're grayed out with this little italics, then you'll know that it's coming soon, or at least it's under discussion to see if we need that resource. We have 3 basic areas. The first one is guidance. And so what we use is our article format. And I'll go ahead and click on this one, returning citizen background information. And so what we want to do is kind of provide like the executive summary format type thing, or and takes a little bit, and then it'll have related resources and the related. So here's our kind of like our executive summary area that gives you like the high level overview or guidance, and then we have a resource section. So this could include instructions. It could also include like infographics. It could also include videos. So those will be available along this right-hand side. So for starters, the articles or guidance we have background information for Returning Citizens Project. We have getting started. We have the intake process for returning citizens. So those are some of the things that we're going to talk about today. And then our next column over our instructions. And so when we refer to instructions, these instructions are usually very specific to Illinois WorkNet, just because we wanted to be able to, pull out, if you're in Illinois WorkNet, we want to be able to, put all the Illinois WorkNet instructions specifically, right here in the center. We break it out into getting started, outreach, intake, dashboards, and so forth. Then we have additional resources. So these may be something that's related to policy, or as we have more technical assistance webinars, it could be the PowerPoint that was provided for that webinar, or some other type of research or paper or toolkit that was that is a related resource that has been provided. So you'll see this page continue to evolve. Close out this page. And then we have our partner tool updates. So as we push out new releases, we'll go ahead and put those updates on this page as well. A little down a little bit further, we have our event calendar, and so we're still in the process of ironing out the reoccurring time, day, and topics that will be that we'll go ahead and put in this upcoming event. But you can always go here to see what the next item is that's going to be available for all of the partners that are working on the Returning Citizen project. And then as like today, after today, I'll go ahead and move it to the past events, so you'll still have a history that you can take a look at for these past events. And then we also have a challenge and solution survey. So this is a really neat project with different partners that are working together, and it's a hard to serve population because there's different things that you can't do while they're in custody, but you want to try to do them before they're released so that they can just hit the ground running once they are released. I know that you've been working with each other on the different logistics and compromises on how you can do things. And so we definitely want to keep an ongoing list of the different challenges that you're facing, because that list will be reviewed by the team members here, and then we can use that information to help set up different technical assistance webinars, or just reach out to you specifically to provide technical assistance. Or if you have faced a challenge and you found a solution that seems to be working for you, by all means, put the information for your solution in the survey, because we can also do some technical assistance webinars where it's more like peer-to-peer sharing of things, challenges that you face and solutions that seems to be working for you. So those are some things as we move forward. We can use that information to build out our technical assistance webinars. Okay, so that's a lot of information about just getting to the partner guide page and the resources that are available, but this really is your go-to spot for information for returning citizens for this program. You want to go ahead to access the actual tools. You'll need to, we have this area here where you can click on the link and it'll take you to the program tools in production. I'm going to go ahead and go to our test site because I don't want to actually share customer information in our recording. But if you pretend that I clicked on that link, then it'll take me directly to this customer service page. But you know what? I did the same darn thing today that I did last one. I was going to go over the overall process first, process flow diagram, before we actually dive into the tools. So I'm going to show you the process flow diagram, and then I'm going to ask you some questions, okay? So be prepared to answer. It's okay if they're not the right answers. Just be prepared because I'm going to call on you in just a few moments. Okay, so whenever we were getting everything set up, we have the site or the different areas in WorkNet set up for Kewaunee, Logan, and Murfreesboro. And we have those groups so that we can identify the different staff that are with the Department of Corrections versus the WIOA partners. And we have staff that have been added to each of those groups, and we use those groups to know that you should have access to a specific set of customers within these tools. So Kewaunee people see Kewaunee, Logan, you see Logan, Murfreesboro, you see Murfreesboro. If you're a super user, you see it all. So once we have our site set up, which we do, and we have partners, staff that have been added to the system, now we need to start enrolling the offenders. And so we have it set up right now that any of the partners, whether you're DOC staff or the other WIOA, LWIA partners, anyone right now who has access to the tools can add the offenders to the system. And so for starters, how the process is set up is that the offenders are identified, Department of Corrections identifies the offenders that are eligible, I guess you could say, or for the program. And then they would tell them about the services and training that are offered through this program. And as part of an orientation, and then they would find out, who is interested in participating in this program, and making sure that the offenders know that once they are released to their MSR county, that the partners in that area can access the information that's been put into the system. So they would need to know that up front to make the decision whether or not they want to be part of this program. If they want to be part of this program, then they are entered into the returning citizen tool, And we're going to take a look at that in a little bit. It says add customer, so you're going to add the customer or the offender, and you're going to enter some basic information, and the system is going to check to see if that person is already in Illinois WorkNet. And if they are, then it'll say, do you want to match? Is this the proper match? You could say yes or no. If they're not into the system, it will go ahead and create an Illinois WorkNet account for them. And it's important to do it this way because we do not require an email if you use this approach to get the offender into Illinois WorkNet. And then whenever they are put into the system, that, through the add customer, then as you're adding them in, it's going to assign them to either one of the parent institutions, either Kewaunee, Logan, or Murfreesboro. And by doing that, now that offender all the partner staff have access to that customer's information. We also have some other tools, and so we've worked with the various partners and tried to identify, the different types of tools and information that could be used for communicating when, their status, if they're in custody, and when their expected release date is, so that the partners can plan appropriately as far as and start and working together to coordinate services. Maybe, somebody's working more in jobs, somebody's working more on exploring careers, looking at asking those suitability questions to make sure that they're aligned with the right training programs, as well as, starting some of the planning process for helping, connecting them to services and jobs whenever they're returning to their MSR county. And so to do that, we have those list of questions on this checklist form. So, as we started, the development started to evolve. We're like, really, it's kind of like a checklist. So that's why it's called a checklist. And so, we work through this process. Some of these individuals will be enrolled into training, which will require them to be entered into IWDS. And so we have tools for sending the information to IWDS and also syncing with the IWDS so that we can see the services all in one place for those that are in IWDS and those that are not in IWDS. And then we also have a career plan where you can enter in, it'll be pre-populated with the different types of services and activities that they're going to receive. And then you can just update that information. And then that'll also populate the outcomes page. And then we do have a variety of dashboards and reports that will be used across the board, throughout the process. Okay, I've been talking a lot. I know that. So, but I want to start back out at the very beginning, and I want somebody to tell me if I'm going to be started, I need access to these tools. What do I need? Walk me through the process of how I do that. Okay, I see Michelle, but you need a partner account. Very good. And how do I find the partner guide with all the instructions? What do I need to do? I know this seems very elementary, but you'd be surprised with everybody being so busy. Simple things like this kind of get lost in the mix. Okay. Go to the guide. How do I get to the partner resources? We have a quiet group. How do I get to partner resources? If I go to illinoisworknet.com, how do I get to the partner resources? Yes, very good. Partner icon at the top. And then we'll go with what Michelle had said. We scroll down to the partner guide for the returning citizens. So this is a public facing. Now what do I do if I want to get to the tools? Click on the, yep, Michelle, click on the returning citizen program partner tools link. So you'll click on this, it'll prompt you to log into your account, and then you have a different view. You will see your returning citizens, and these are the partner tools. So when you come here, I think everybody has at least one person. Some people have more people that they've already started entering the information in. But the very first step that you're going to do is you're going to add a customer. So you go to add a customer. If you, my test person that I'm in as right now only has access to Kiwani. So it's my only option. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put in my Department of Corrections number. And I know that's not really right, but this is my test. And so I'm just typing some stuff in. I'm going to put in my name or a name. I'm kind of Mills. Okay, so we do ask for social security number, but we understand that you don't always have the social security number and it might be hard to get. So if you don't have it, that's okay. You don't need it at this point in time. If you do have it, put it in. We'd appreciate if you would put it in, because it just helps us to definitely make a better match within Illinois WorkNet if that person may already be in WorkNet. So we have first name, last name. We're not going to put social in, and we're going to put date of birth. Let's see. And then county of commitment. Oh, there you go. That's good. You can put in multiple counties here, since their offenses may have occurred in multiple counties. You're going to put the mandatory supervised release date, and we know that this date changes regularly, so you will have the opportunity to update this as well. But for now, you put in their MSR date, you put in the county, one county. For the return, you can select a list of offenses. So you just go down through the list, and once you have it, it's a drop-down list, and you click on it, it'll add it to this field. And if you did something on accident, you just hit the little X button, and it'll get rid of the one that you didn't want. And then you can do the enrollment date. So we know that in some cases, you already have people in the program, and you need to go back and put those people in, and they may have been enrolled, a month ago. You can go ahead and put in you can backdate the enrollment date. Or if you're doing it real time, then you can put, today's date. So you hit add customer. It's going to check to see if there's an Illinois WorkNet account. This one did not have an Illinois WorkNet account already in there based on the first name, last name, and date of birth. So it's telling me that, okay, I have, it generated a username, it generated a password, and it told me that this is a new account, and just otherwise we don't have a secret question or a secret answer on file, which is okay. Whenever they have access to their account, they can add that at a later date. You can write this down if you want to. It's not really necessary. This is a temporary password. Whenever they go in, or either you or the offender logs into their account, they will be prompted to update this password. So we have added our person. Let me go ahead and find this person now. We do have an autofill, so I think I put it Mills. So if I just put in a couple letters, I can click on the name and I can search, and I can see that Charlie is right here. So I can click on Charlie, and now I have my customer overview. Over the various projects that we've done over the years, we found that this overview page is really helpful in just helping to explain to people, kind of like, it's almost like the individual dashboard at the customer level, the high level things of what we need to have done. So you'll see that we have this person is automatically defaulted to active once you've added them to the system. If you needed to say, if they were transferred to a different institution, you can hit save. It'll ask you to, put in a case note, and you can save it as just a case note. And the case note was saved. You can see the history of when it was made active and when it was made inactive. If you're like, oops, I made a mistake, I can make this active, and now you can see they're active, and you'll still be able to see the history of their enrollment. So if you make a mistake, it's not a big deal. It's fixable. You can just update it on this page. Then we have the checklist. The checklist is what I was referring to earlier about working together, coordinating the different types of services that need to be provided. And so one of the things that you can do is this list right here we call them the integrated resource team partners, because it can be a variety of partners that are helping this individual. And so if you want to identify the specific people that are working with this person, I can go ahead and select from this list. So if this is Kiwani and I have 3 DOC people and 5 other WIOA partners, maybe only a select few, a handful of those are working with this particular individual. You can identify those people individually, but those will all automatically be populated in this area. So only the people that have access to these tools will be populated in this integrated resource team list. In this, you can see there's no partners. It says action is needed, so let me just pick somebody that's going to be working with this person. Now it changed to complete, and I can see the partners that are working with this particular individual. I can go ahead and click on my checklist section, and again, you'll see this top area. So we're telling you, on this page, these are the different things that need to be done. Underneath it, you'll have the specific areas that say, complete profile information that can be synced to IWDS. It says not complete. If I click on this link up here, it's going to pop open the corresponding section below. Okay. That's how this top part works. The first section on this page that's in the collapsible area is the Department of Corrections profile information. These are all the different things that were added whenever you added the person. If you needed to change this, say, it was their date, they're not out till release until the 16th, you can save it, and you'll see that the date is updated. Okay. We have information, so if you're one of the folks that works with IWDS, then we have the tools in here so you can search for a customer or you can submit their information to IWDS. If you wanted to edit the information, you click edit. You'll need to add their social security number. There's a few fields in here that you have to have in here before you can submit it to IWDS. But the system will let you know which ones those are. So you can just start to build this up over time. You don't have to do it right away. You know, it depends on the process that you have locally. One of the things that I want to show you right now, when you hit the edit button, we go to this modal window, and it's a little hard to read because it's all cramped in there, and it's pretty big for a modal window. What we're doing, or the Jonathan, my programmer, is working on, is a different view of this. And that view, if you have offenders that are allowed to use the internet and they're allowed to complete the information, this type of information for you, at maybe you're in the computer lab, they will have a view that looks more like our application. And so they would be able to enter this information for themselves. If you are working with individuals and they can't access the internet, they're not allowed to, then you'll notice that this page will change, and whenever you hit the edit button, you're going to get the same view that they would get. So just know that this is temporary so that you can start entering the information, but a more user-friendly interface is going to be available in the near future, so you can enter that data. But you just hit edit, and so each of these sections basically works they're very similar. So if I hit edit, I can say, I don't know, want a car. We'll just say, oh, so okay, so another situation, and this goes to a conversation if you heard Autumn and I talking before we started, that what Autumn does is she's able to go into a facility and she has their username and their password, and she'll log in as them, and she'll be prompted to, update the password, which is fine. And so she can normally she can update their password, and then she'll do the interest inventory, the CIS skills and interest inventory with them. She's the one that's actually working the computer, but she can ask the questions and they can respond. And then that was nice because their skills and interests are saved, with their account for future reference. But the other day, she ran into a hiccup because we updated the password reset and she wasn't able to log in as them. She ended up logging in as herself. She did the CIS. And so she has those results that she could upload, as a document, but also there's an area in here so you can see like the first choice. So the person was looking through the information, they're like, oh, well, I like, manufacturing came up quite a bit, and then I don't know, I'm gonna make up the rest of it, but we'll just say the other one came up as TDL and, whatever, construction. So you can add in those data elements. So if you're even using a different type of interest inventory, you can, that's fine. Or if you have to use like a paper version, that's fine, whatever you're doing and for your area. But know that, you can upload the information, and even more importantly, enter in these like career pathway areas, because if it's an uploaded document, it's hard to, dig down and sift through to find that information. But if we have it consistently in these areas for, their career choices, career pathway choices, then it's, it's the same common format, and we can pull and run reports, and, you can easily export that information. So if you hit save, hopefully that was helpful for you, Autumn. Let me go in here.
It was.
Okay. And so as you now, after I hit save, you can see, oh, here's manufacturing to transportation, distribution, TDL and architecture, construction. And so since I entered those pieces and parts in there, I have a high level at a glance view. If they did the skills and interest inventory in their area, you can click on view skills and interests, and it'll take you to the actual like skills and interest results. But again, so that's a deeper dive information, but this is just like a high level overview. Okay. And so what we try to do is provide a combination of interview questions for like suitability, and also to help like with identifying areas that may be motivating factors when working with these customers, and putting them in here. And then so those are the regular text, and then the responses are the bolded text. And so we have the same similar approach for the job search preparation, and then transition for release. We have an area where they can add in an address, another address, another address, for, if there's potential areas where they're trying to work out the logistics of, are they going to be in, this area 1, 2, or 3. And so we thought that would be helpful with the partners who are trying to help them with, identifying, areas or job openings. And then we do have an area or an exit survey, and we're still waiting on the actual question for the survey. So just know that this is kind of a placeholder at this point in time. But we will be including an exit survey so that we could get the offender's perspective on the program and how the services were, helpful, that sort of thing. And then the other area is we have a schedule appointment with the MSR LWIA career planners or partners. And so, the whole idea behind putting all this information in Illinois WorkNet and giving multiple partners access to these tools is, for one, coordinating who's doing what. If Autumn's there one day and another person's there another day, they can say, oh, I just saw you worked on your resume the other day, let's work on this today. They can have visibility of those items. That's one way. Also, so they can just you don't have to make assumptions as far as, oh, I thought that Kayla did that already, or oh, Kayla, you already put them in, they're in Illinois Job Link, I don't have to worry about that. So we have all this information stored here for this customer, and then we have a scheduling tool that will be used to work with coordinating appointments with their MSR LWIA partners. And so by doing that, then those partners will have access to this information. And we're still working out the logistics of who is going to be contacted, those type of things. Just know that the tools, we have the basic set of tools in Illinois WorkNet, and that's why it's really important to keep all this information in Illinois WorkNet, because whenever the appointment is made and they're kind of handed off to the next group of career planners and so forth, case managers, that they have all this information already in the system and they don't have to redo it. And the idea is that it expedites or streamlines the process so they can get them, right into, receiving different services and, hopefully right into a job. The offender can also decline to have this information, to, like, if you're working with them and they said, no, I don't want to receive those services, they can choose to decline the referral, or if maybe they moved out of state, you can identify that they've moved out of state, or if there's some other reason that they're not going to be connected with the partners in the MSR LWIA, then we just want to document that information so we can, kind of troubleshoot if we see there's a trend of them like either never showing up to the appointment or not wanting to go there. We can kind of do a deeper dive as to why is that occurring. We also have a print button because some of the feedback that we received is that a lot of these people, they just don't have a lot of, they don't have their own information like in their hands, and that's a comfort level type thing for them. So this isn't the prettiest document at the moment. We can work on making this prettier, but it is like a summary of everything. So as all this information is filled out, it could be printed and handed to them, as they're leaving, so they have that in their hands and can use it. Okay. So I am going to ask some more questions now. I am going to go to my customer list. And when I come to this page, how do I add customers? Okay, you're gonna get the gold star because you're everyone else, I want other people to answer too. Yes, you click on the button for add customers. Is the social security, and everybody just yell out, is the social security number required? Correct, it's not required. If I see that Billy Bob, his MSR date, he was never released in May because I made a typo, how do I fix that? How do I fix the MSR date? How do I change it? Okay. How do I open up his profile? Click on the last name, okay. And now what do I click on? If I want to update his profile and the MSR date, what do I click? It doesn't have to be the right answer, just somebody tell me. Wild guess, anybody? Wild guess, anybody guess? Career plan or checklist? Okay, thank you for letting me know. It is the checklist. And now what? Now what do I click on? If you look at the chat, Katie would use the right wording. Yes, the profile information. And then what I click? Edit, very good. And I can change the date. So let's see what I say. I said, oh, this one I had is already released to MSR, but let's just say I had the wrong date in there. It should have been June 15th. Hit save. And it's going to save it and refresh my page so that you'll see now it changed this date. Okay. All right. Very good. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh, you can reset, while we're here, I want to say that you can reset their passwords at any time, but anytime, just know that when you reset the password, that's totally fine. But what it's going to do is set it as a temporary password. So the next time that you come into the system, you're just going to have to go through the process where it'll say, you know, your temporary password's been set, and then you have to like put in a new one. So, but you can do that at any time. So never stress out if you can't remember the password and all that kind of good stuff. And you can use the profile information over here, so you can get their username. This will continue to be built out as well. We have a few more fields that need to be added to that. I want to point out too the case notes. Okay, so we have a case note tool. I'm losing power here. Okay, so we have a case note tool, and then you select a task. Know that this is like this is a global tool that we have in WorkNet. So there are a few things in here that you may or like may never use. But we have selecting a task. So let's say the first thing I'm going to do is an assessment, or I don't know, we'll just call it general. And you can put the contact date. So if like Autumn was with in the facility yesterday, she could come back, you know, say, oh, I forgot to put this case note in here, and I talked to Billy Bob yesterday, and we talked about, I don't know, manufacturing jobs, and then this is what we talked about, and he has these skills and is interested in this, that, and the other, and you know, they need to have a next step. One of the things that you can do with case notes is you can either send it as a message, and if you send it as a message, you can send it to other team members. I don't have them listed here, but like if I had the work, I think WWP 10, they would be here, whoever's in that integrated resource team. And this comes through as an Illinois WorkNet message. If you want to send it as a message in an email, whatever the email address is that's associated with that partner account, you can send it, it'll automatically send that message to them as a message and an email, or you can save it just as a case note without sending a message. So I'm going to add this case note. Now when I go back up to this page, where did you go? Why did you not add? Uh-oh, what happened? Oh gosh darn it. We just updated this page, so I will have to tell my programmer that one, I'm on test, so that one didn't work out, but let's see here. Let me go to, it did. It saved it on this page, it just didn't show it on the other for some reason. So I'll bring that to their attention. But you can see the listing of the case notes, and you can organize them by task, contact date, subject, comments. You can see it was saved as just as a case note, or if it would have been sent as a message. You can see who did it, when they did it. On this particular page as case notes, you can filter by start and end date, and you can export a listing of case notes as well. Okay. Very good. I like your comment, Mark. That's funny. So you can have, here's a listing of, you know, the export. So this has been useful in some of the other programs that we worked on. This is an example of what it would look like on our career plan page. We don't have time to go through the career plan today, but we will have another upcoming webinar on the career plan. Let's see, there was something else that I wanted to go over real quick. What was that? case notes. Oh. The other thing is that we also, if you needed an exported list of your customers, this is the original customer list. You click export. We have it where it defaults just to WorkNet ID, first name, last name, username. But if you wanted to update, more, if you needed an export for whatever reason, or just your case notes, you could say first name, last name, and let's say, I don't know, IWDS application status, employment or CIS assessment status, and last case note, or optimal resume information. You can click whichever types of fields that you want to have included and hit export, and it will export in an Excel file the list with those particular fields populated. And we can add more fields to that export as we move forward as well. All right. Are there any questions? I know is there anyone who needs to have access to the partner tools today that's on this call that doesn't have access to them, but you need to have access to them? If so, go ahead and put it in the group chat. Or if you're shy, but you still need to have access to it, you can also, just follow the process that I mentioned before with setting up your online WorkNet account, sending us a message that, you need to have it as a partner account, and we can get that set up for you. All right. Mark or Tammy, did you want to add anything else to what we've talked about today?
No, I think you did a great job. Thanks so much, Natasha.
Yeah. All right. Okay, great. Well, if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. And again, make sure that you are tuning in to this partner guide, because that's where we're going to put updates and instructions and more guidance, and also updates on what are the upcoming technical assistance webinars. And please, 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 please enter your information into this survey, because that is what we're going to use as one of the main tools, as a communication tool for you to let us know what information needs to be included or addressed with these technical assistance webinars. The first few will be just about simply using the tools, but then we want to get into more of the deeper dive as to your other technical assistance needs. So not okay. Oh, Kendra, okay. I set up only work again. Did have access, but not sure if anything else needs to be done. I can just double check your access to make sure that, if you can access the tools, then you're good to go. And, it's really, I don't think anything special needs to be done to your account, but I'll just double check it for you. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. You have a great rest of the day.